All the characters in the story are over 18 years old. With the onset of July, the most long, awaited and exciting period begins in the life of students, the summer holidays. For Rebecca, a young and ambitious student, this time meant not only a break from academic stress, but also incredible opportunities for new beginnings and interesting meetings. The summer days, full of light and warmth, opened the doors to a world of free time for her, which she could spend the way she wanted. Rebecca was 24 years old, and throughout her studies she attracted the attention of not only her classmates, but also students from all over the university. In the opinion of the male half of her study group, she was a real beauty. Like a shining star, she radiated confidence and charisma that left no one indifferent. Her striking appearance, magnificent facial features, and charming smile made her the most attractive girl not only in the group, but also in the eyes of many students of the entire educational institution. In her relationships with others, she became a real goddess who attracted the gazes of admiring fans. However, despite all the courtship and compliments, Rebecca did not have a boyfriend. She regularly received offers of meetings and romantic relationships, but each time she politely declined. No one could understand why such an attractive and charming girl preferred to stay alone when there was an atmosphere of flirtation and admiration around her. There was something deeper behind her refusals than a simple reluctance to start a relationship. In fact, Rebecca was focused on her goals and dreams, preferring to spend time doing her favorite hobbies, developing as a person, and striving for self-improvement. Her inner world was full of interesting ideas and plans, and she felt that the summer holidays could be the perfect time to implement them. She had her own thoughts and desires, and she wanted to make the most of this period to discover new horizons, filling her life with bright moments and unforgettable impressions. The fact is that Rebecca was a girl with a very unusual and unique perception of the world. Unlike most of her peers, she wasn't interested in boys and girls at all. She wasn't looking for a romantic relationship, as young people her age usually do. Instead, animals became her passion and source of inspiration. This love for our younger brothers originated back in the old days, when she was just finishing her schooling. At that time, she felt a real affection for a street dog who lived near her house. This dog, named Bruno, became her loyal friend and protector. Rebecca spent a lot of time with him, playing and caring for him. Every evening she came outside to feed him and play with him. Their bond was sincere and pure, and Rebecca considered Bruno not just a pet, but a true member of her family. But when she went to university and left her hometown, they had to break up, and it became a real test for her. Despite the separation from Bruno, Rebecca has not given up her love for animals. Every night, after classes, she went out to the local city park, which became a kind of refuge for her. She returned to her hobby and searched for local stray dogs, attracting them with her kind heart and warmth. The dogs seemed to feel her kindness, reaching out to her, and she enjoyed every moment of communication with these free and independent creatures. Before the start of the summer holidays, Rebecca had a strong desire to diversify her life. She felt that she needed something new, something exciting that could add bright colors to her everyday days. After much thought and planning, her choice fell on a horse. This idea seemed incredibly attractive and promising to her. To fulfill her dream, Rebecca bought tickets for a bus that was heading to the nearest village, where, as she had heard, good horses could be found. She was looking forward to the moment when she could realize her idea and meet these majestic animals. When she reached the village, she immediately started looking for a horse. The dark twilight gradually covered the surroundings, and this was to her advantage, since in the dark her actions would not attract unnecessary attention. She tried to move carefully, trying not to make any noise, and anxiously searched for something that could be the beginning of a new and exciting stage in her life. Rebecca was determined to find a horse and find the connection she had always sought in her relationship with animals. Finally, after a long and thorough search, Rebecca's luck smiled. She found a small but cozy shed with a wooden stall where the horses were tied up. It was quiet inside, and the only sound that broke the silence was the animals' breathing. As soon as Rebecca entered, the horse, noticing the man, began to snort and get a little nervous, showing that she was wary. Well, well, be quiet, my good one, she said softly, trying to calm the animal. Her voice was soft and encouraging, and she was full of hope that this was the horse she was looking for. With every passing moment, her joy only increased when she finally made sure that a beautiful stallion was standing in front of her, ready to communicate. "Hush, my boy," she repeated again, gently stroking him first on the withers, and then slowly going down to run her hand over his rough fur, all the way to the tail. She felt a special bond begin to form between them, based on trust and understanding. "Do you mind if I take a look at you for a bit?" "What is it?" she asked, trying to be as gentle and careful as possible. There was sincerity and tenderness in her voice. She understood how important it was to establish contact with this animal. Suddenly, Rebecca was struck by an interesting and unusual scent coming from a horse, which brought back memories of nature and fresh air. "Thanks for the treat, my stud." She smiled, feeling as if this first acquaintance had become something special. "But now it's time to get down to the most important thing. What do you think, my boy? Did you like it?" "What is it?" she asked, looking into his intelligent eyes that seemed to understand her every word. In response, the horse snorted, as if expressing its agreement and joy at communicating with her. This sound was a confirmation for Rebecca that a real friendship had developed between them, which was just beginning to develop. "I knew you'd like this," Rebecca said, looking at her new friend with a smile. The satisfaction of being with the horse filled her heart with joy, but soon fatigue made itself felt. Exhausted from an eventful day full of new emotions and impressions, she couldn't resist the call of sleep. Unable to even move, Rebecca snuggled down on a soft haystack and, lulled by the tranquility of the night, soon fell into a deep and restless sleep. When she woke up, the morning sun had already begun to peek into the barn, filling it with soft light and creating a warm atmosphere. Rebecca opened her eyes and, seeing that morning had already arrived, quickly realized that it was time to get ready. She felt a surge of energy and jumped up from her seat, ready for new adventures. The first thing she did was leave the barn and head to the nearest river to wash off all the dirt and fatigue that had accumulated over the past day. The cool water pleasantly enveloped her skin, and with every passing minute she felt her strength recovering. After refreshing herself, she quickly dressed in her comfortable clothes, preparing to return to daily life. Before leaving the barn and parting with the stallion, Rebecca went up to him, stroked his muzzle, and kissed him fondly goodbye. This moment was important to her, and she wanted the horse to know how much this acquaintance meant to her. With a light heart and bright thoughts about new meetings, she headed to the bus station, full of hope for the future. Sitting on an overstuffed seat on a half-empty bus, Rebecca looked out the window and couldn't help but remember that she hadn't really had breakfast since morning. The morning's chores and haste had left her no time to enjoy a full meal, and now she felt slightly hungry. Realizing that she needed to do something about it, she looked into her briefcase, in which she always kept something healthy and tasty for a snack. There she found one of the bottles with a drink that she had prepared in advance. Rebecca happily opened it, and from the first sip, she felt the refreshing taste fill her mouth. She drank about half of the contents and felt her hunger subside a little. "What a delicious thing it is," she said with a smile on her lips. "It's better than any yogurt I've ever tasted." Although she was glad that she was able to satisfy her hunger, there was still a note of sadness in Rebecca's soul. It was a little sad for her to return home to her familiar surroundings, leaving behind all the bright moments spent in the company of the stallion. She looked out the window at the scenery rushing by and dreamed about how this summer she would be able to meet this beautiful horse more than once. She was sure that there would be new adventures and joyful moments ahead that they could share together. With these thoughts, she took a deep breath, feeling hope for the future reignite in her heart.